All right, what is up, sports fans? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rochelle. The big man to the right, Mr. Ben Troop. We're going to be joined by Ben Williamson here in a few minutes. He's just getting himself situated. We're going to kick things off like we always do here at The Fan in the End. Obviously, lots of fun stuff to talk about in the sports world, football world. Ben, how are you feeling this morning, my friend?
Man, I'm good. I mean, it's there's no such thing as a slow news day when you talk about football. From the draft getting closer, who's gonna be there on draft day, who's not gonna be there, who's gonna end up where, and the real question is, who is the Eagles gonna add to this dynasty that's gonna bring hell and brimstone to everybody who gonna come and deal with them? Because like I say, when C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets traded and it barely makes the news. Like, yeah, he's traded, moved on. Like, we ain't even, that's how good. No, Cooper DeJean, he's working out with Patrick Surtain. That's not good for the competition, people. That means that he's going to be setting records at the slot position. People say, man, what's on your resume? Oh, nothing. Just a interception for a touchdown in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes. That's what you did your rookie year? Yeah. I baited him. I baited who was supposed to be the next, the next Tom Brady.
Did you see his comments? Did you see his comments? He's cracking out again, man. He is absolutely cracking out again. His latest comments were basically, people show me their colors when I got traded. What? Your former teammates showed you their colors. Not no one on the team said anything about you.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too, right? I do think sometimes, as a former athlete, when you in it, we act as if we are above feedback or criticism. Just say somebody was critical of you. Well, CJ, you're critical of everybody, everything. Like you, and I don't get that part. It's like a person that says, "Hey, man, I give feedback, I don't take it. I give criticism, I don't take." And these aren't even negative words. It's CJ realized real quick, hey man, if you're gonna disrupt or potentially disrupt this culture, you ain't worth it, because that's what Nick Sirianni is building. That's what Howie Roseman is building and saying, hey man, the best cultures lead to championships. You don't believe me? So I just think that for C, and you would think, right? Because CJ, guess what? You in your 20s, right? Isn't it? That was your second stint in Philly, right? You killing it you're not gonna have a third. You're not gonna have a third stint because they realized, hey man, you was a really, really good player the first time around. We just came up, a game short. You came back, went to Detroit, came back. You ain't realizing that, man. What I really want to say about my teammates, I say it in private to my family members. I do not say that stuff publicly because you know what you don't control? Interpretation, perception. And
we're talking about Howie's culture. Did you see the other comments that came out? I mean, he said it, I think, at the Super Bowl, but it kind of really got the news rounds that basically he won't even look at guys that has any type of SA assault stuff to do with them, any type of women's violence, things of that nature. When we talk about building culture, Howie knows how to do it, and people may say, well, that's stupid to kind of take guys out of his, to not be able to look at them. There's a reason why this team plays the way they do, why they rally around each other and things of that nature. He knows the type of people he wants in the building. So, I mean, when you're hearing all these rumors like, hey, we're the Miami Dolphins are shopping this guy around and he's had some issues in his past and things, and they're sitting there saying the Eagles are linked to him. Like, I guess they don't really pay attention to what Howie Roseman says, because the fact that he has these type of issues are the reason why he isn't here in Philadelphia, or how he hasn't picked up the phone and say, hey, what's going on with Tyreek Hill, or what's going on with Jalen Ramsey, or things of that nature.
Howie Roseman understands that whatever he does at the top trickles down to the bottom. He knows that when it comes to women, we either care about them or we don't, right? I know we was kind of getting into it yesterday, with Scott and company on, we were just saying, hey, with what Andrew Luck has done at Stanford, saying, look, man, let me tell y'all something. You know how many players never touch women? Most of them, 99.9. You telling me because this player is that talented, I'm going to look past his past? No. He's saying, look, it's 31 teams that might not care. We care over here, and we ain't doing that. Because if that person's who has a checkered past about, having nefarious acts or whatever with women, it comes up again, then the past comes up again. So I salute Howie Roseman for doing that, because in a sport that brands itself on loving women but not protecting them, Howie said, not over here. Howie Roseman understands what happened, what did happen with Dan Snyder, over there with the Den Redskins. The last thing you want to do is your legacy to be tainted or killed by something that you didn't do your due diligence. Now, is Howie Roseman saying that people who have checker pads with women shouldn't get an opportunity? No, of course they should. But over here, man, we all about character. And to me, the opposite sex is going to be the biggest barometer. So I credit him for saying it out loud, because most people say that's something we do, but we don't talk about it. Howie said, no. We talk about it over here. We're going to put it out there. We brash, we bold, we feel it. So I respect him wholeheartedly, because Howie, I don't know if Howie Roseman's married. I don't know if he has daughters, but even if he's not married or don't have daughters, he knows we got to protect them. And if the GM can't set the culture for the rest of this team to do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Nick Sirianni can preach what Nick Sirianni coaches the players that Howie Roseman picks. And now guys are saying, and anybody who don't like that policy has a problem with women. If you go, I don't think that's right. Well, why don't you think that's right? Are you saying, I don't think a person who put his hands on a woman or did something should be disqualified? He ain't disqualified. He's saying you can't play here. It's 31 other teams you can play. But here, because we're going to keep it about football. Because if something happens and we push it to the side, I remember when they said Dan Snyder would never sell the Redskins at the time. Is he the Redskins though? Nope. I'm telling y'all, Howie Roseman is showing y'all why he's playing chess. It ain't just the X's and the O's. This is the same team that when Michael Vick got out of jail, who gave him a job? That would be Philly, because they could. Hey, dude, we got the infrastructure. We can do it. And he was in the MVP race at one point. He didn't win it. So, man, Howie knows what he's doing. If you want to be a GM and you want to do it the right way, and you want to have a winning culture, and you want to win championships, I think Howie Roseman is the guy you talk to. You might not be able to emulate what he does, Steven, but you're saying, dude, so you're serious about women? Dead serious. Like, what you mean? Dead serious about them, because it's women that are Philly fans. It's women that love this game. And the last thing I'm going to say is, so Howie, what about women? Hey, man, what? This kid right here, because sometimes consequences have to be felt. And if I'm so superbly talented that what I do doesn't matter, no. I'm hoping that those type of days and athletes is behind us, because I came up in an era to where they didn't care, man. If you were good or great, they'll push all that stuff under the rug. Well, here's the thing. What does that say about the young ladies starting in college with Title IX? So Howie Roseman is saying, I don't know what y'all principles are with y'all teams. We don't play that over here. So people are saying, are you saying that a Tyreek Hill – nope. Tyreek Hill is disqualified to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. He knows it, but he got, like I said, 30 other teams, because he plays for the
Dolphins now. So yeah.
I respect that.
But and speaking of just some of the off the field stuff affecting things, we absolutely have to talk about Kyron Lacey's passing, man. It's that is an absolute sin. How not only that, like what he obviously made some mistakes and did some things of that nature, but he was also like cleared of most of the legal stuff of it, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out that what was going on recently was more of a civil thing, where the other guy that was involved in the accident wasn't named. It was only Kyron Lacey. And he was being bullied online. He was being targeted. He was being attacked, and it took a toll. And we talk about mental health awareness a lot on on the show. And it's one of those things, man, where We have to have something in place for these guys to be able to reach out when they're dealing with this inner pain, to have somebody to go to, so we're not hearing about Kyron Lacey took his own life. I don't want to hear any young man having to go through that alone, because that's probably how he felt.
Yeah, it was, man. It's one of those things, Stephen. That it's not, the biggest head scratcher is when the person involved takes their own life, because it's going to be the biggest why, right? Because and we're going to speculate most of the things, like you mentioned. He's getting bullied online. When people say, "Well, why does that matter?" That's the era that he came up in. This young man only knew social media, cell phones, exposure, which means social media is a part of his DNA. He cares about. Listen, do people care about what other people say about him? It depends on how famous you are. It depends on your mindset. But it's like now with the bullying and the civil suit, people go, well, why did he get named? Because he's famous. How do I know that matters? Kyron Lacey didn't understand fully how big he was and how much he represented. Because sometimes, yes, if I'm young and I'm in a fast car and I'm just thinking about joyriding. I don't think about, hitting somebody or getting pulled over or causing a wreck or causing a fatality. But you have to know, hey, man, sometimes being in the limelight means you got to take a step back. You can't do everything everybody does. You can't say everything. You're still a human being. You still, ultimately, you normal. But now, what about the people he left behind? His parents, if he had children, he had siblings. It's going to be, this young man was getting ready for the greatest moment of his life, to get drafted, and it'll never happen. Because if I've been a great athlete my whole life, I went to LSU, I'm trending upward, all of a sudden I'm being I'm being villainized in online. Hey, man, you see what they said about me? Then look at this. And in his mind, he knows that public perception wins now. Regardless of who I really am or what I really did, once the allegations come out, people turn the TV. Oh, there go another one. And he didn't realize, like, I think you said something great, Stephen, when you said, where does he go to feel protected by a community of people that's telling him, Kyron, either you're going to have to turn social media off and not listen to it, or that's going to be your reality. But even now, that's over with. I remember this. This mental health is incredible. What really shook mental health for me, Stephen, is when I was like everybody else. When Junior Seau passed, I said, dang. And when it came out, he killed himself. I'm like, what? So,
yeah, it's that. People don't even realize that Junior Seau tried to kill himself 2 different times before he succeeded.
Wow.
2 different times. He tried to drive his SUV off a ravine. Lived. Because of the type of vehicle he had. Thank God it had the protection it did. And then he also tried to do it again before that. I forget how he tried to do it that time, but like, listen, he was crying out. He was in pain, and there was nothing anybody could have done. Not his family. It was just it was in his head, and that he couldn't take whatever was going on with his body, his mind, etc. And that's why we talk about CTE and things of that nature. So it's like, it's why I think that no matter what we do, I don't think it's going to be enough. Regardless, there's always going to be someone or something that gets through the cracks. But we have to have more outlets for someone to reach out to. That's why I just did an article where NFL's hypocrisy on player safety, where the league has to do more itself too.
Don't get me started. That's a boy. But like you just said, it's a people. Listen, people only have sympathy and empathy for certain people or certain things. Women, children, pets, not men, not young men, not grown men, not older men. And that's regardless of color. That's regardless of socioeconomic status. And if you think about a high-profile athlete, oh, he did it. As soon as the thing about allegations is, as soon as he did it, of course, and they go compare him to someone else who did do something instead of saying, wait a minute. Why is it that when I make a mistake, yes, I'm high profile, so everything I do is high profile, everything, right? And now the young man is going on. He's going from the highest to the high. He's got to go on trial. He's got to go, and in his mind, he's like, look, man, they only named me. Yes, he didn't understand the full judicial process. And look, man, in the court of public opinion, you are guilty until you're proven innocent. That's not how the law works. The law works, you are innocent until proven guilty. And in his mind, I'm already guilty. It's going to be the biggest head scratcher, one of the many head scratchers in his life, because we'll never know why he ultimately did it, because the hardest thing for men to do is to tell people I need help, man. Like, I'm struggling. Like, vulnerability to men is like kryptonite to Superman. We ain't gonna do it. Number one, I don't want to be villainized for letting you know I need help. And number two, I want the help to look a certain way, sound a certain way, feel a certain way. And somebody could just be like, hey, man, this is what I did. This is how I deal with it. This is how I go to counseling. I go to therapy. I talk to my therapist. Because being an athlete, a pro athlete, is very, very seldom. It seems like it's just hundreds of thousands of them, but it's not. It's a very, very small community. But I just think, for me, being a former player, I do think former players need to do a better job of having more contact with the current players and let them know, hey, man, these are the pitfalls. This is the part that you ain't gonna want to hear, but the quicker you can normalize being a normal person with an abnormal life, the better your life gonna be. Because I know you thought before all this happened, man, don't nobody know who I am. Oh, yes, they do. More people know you than you know them. So, but condolences to his family. Condolences to the family of the elderly gentleman who lost his life in the original crash. Condolences to the Lacey family that he left behind. And now we got to be strong for his family, because they're the ones who gonna have to answer questions that they don't have the answer to. But yeah, man, Steve, it's just a crazy situation, man. But as a community, when I say community, I'm talking about if you cover football, watch football, fan of football, we all in the same community, and we all got resources to help all these young men and young ladies. By the way, we got to do a better job of doing our part to help them, and not make it about what school they went to, what the allegations are. They're people, man. And if we could see people instead of just athletes, I think we could do a better job of helping them. But the NFL, this condolences stuff they do, the hearts and prayer, they're gonna have to do more than that. The NFL needs to do a lot more than what they're doing, because even though it's a small amount of players, a small amount is still too many, because it affects the masses. So I think we can just do a better job on our part.
We do need to do a better job of it. But let's switch gears. We kind of loosely touched on it. The Dolphins are literally got both of their stars on both of the side of the ball. Said, you know what? I'm out. I want out. Let's figure this thing out. I cannot play for Miami anymore. And both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey are on the trading block now. So what are your thoughts on this one, man? It's if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to be pulling your hair out and trying to get into the sun and try to forget about the last handful of years, because it's been rough.
It has. Jalen Ramsey is gonna. He excites a lot of teams because of his skill set and what he brings to the defensive side of the ball. It's that cap number. Jalen Ramsey, I think, is going to be 30, 31 years old. He's still playing at a Pro Bowl level, but they're like, Jalen.
I think it's over like $21 million a year, and
I think over the next 4. What scares people about Jalen is, hey, man, how quick are you going to fall out of love when you get here? Because it might not. Listen, it might not go the way.
What? This is his third team, right?
Football is unpredictable, but Jalen Ramsey is still a quality player. Tyreek Hill is becoming very, very problematic because it's something all the time. It's the last game of the season, post-game press conference. It's the stuff you seeing with him and his wife and his baby. And it's Tyreek Hill is more of a diva than we thought, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the thing about Tyreek Hill is, look, you're a good player. You're a quality player. You're a top 5 receiver, no doubt about it. So Jalen Ramsey is definitely going to be, is going to make a lot of defensive coordinators and head coaches and GMs very, 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 very happy about the fact that they potentially could get him. It's just that, can they get him to come down on that cap number? And I think Mike McDaniels, Stephen Ross, I think they sick of Tyreek Hill. I really, really do, because Mike McDaniels seems like a very, very good player coach, man. He's like, I'm a player coach. I mean, I get it. But at a certain point, you ain't worth it, Tyreek. Like, I get it, dude. You're a future Hall of Famer.
He just got arrested in front of the stadium before a game.
Yeah, he's
last year, man.
Hard knocks for Tyreek Hill did not help his image. It did not help his reputation. It's almost like they going, dude, like you were gonna be the star of the show anyway. You and Tua, right? And so now Tyreek, not to get all the way in his personal business, but he don't do a good job of keeping personal stuff personal. He don't do a good job of it. And now the personal is affecting the professional. And now they're saying, dude, we already gave you 2 contracts that you've been. Gave you the because Kansas City offered you a contract, didn't want it. Then you go to the Dolphins and say things like Tua's more accurate than the Patrick Mahomes. Then you got a contract extension after your first year, back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons. And the talent is unquestionable. No one's questioning Tyreek Hill's talent. It's all the other stuff, man. You come with a lot of baggage, so we'll see what happens. The draft is coming. It's probably going to be a lot of trades. Now, if I'm trading Jalen Ramsey, hey, I'm gonna have to get some quality picks and players because that's a top 5 corner, right? No doubt about it. Tyreek Hill, people don't want to pay him. They want him. They'll take his services, but the circus is behind him. I don't want the circus, so. Yeah, Mike McDaniels, he got some problems on his hand because one, you don't know how healthy Tua is going to be. Jalen Waddle is a good number 2. He's not a solid number 1. And them defensive ends, man, Phillips, Chubb, they can't stay healthy. The Dolphins got problems because guess what? They can have a healthy Tyreek, they can have a healthy Jalen Ramsey, they can have a healthy Phillips, they can have a healthy Chubb, and they're gonna get the brakes beat off them by Buffalo. It ain't going to matter. So we'll see what happens with their 2 biggest stars right now. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. It's been a rough with everything that's going on, and now it looks like they're about to be getting into a soft rebuild, so to speak. You had Calais Campbell, had a contract offer, declined it, went back to the Arizona Cardinals there. So there's a lot of big names moving around down there in Miami. So they're gonna have to figure something out. But we were talking about BG last night. I came across this one today. I don't know if you've seen, but BG's got a new business venture already.
What is it?
His Crooked Tea. It's called Crooked Tea.
I mean, is it alcoholic or is it non-alcoholic?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I mean, look, let me
what I've seen, he was pacing around at bars. So
let me tell you what I appreciate the most about BG, and I appreciate and I'm dead serious. BG is doing it how you're supposed to do. I'm a lifer, meaning I spent my whole career with one team, went to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowls. I'm likable, and I was an incredible player. And I'm trying to get into I'm showing my entrepreneur spirit right now. That's how you do it. Like, that is exactly how you do. I'm going to parlay my career, my accomplishments, my reputation, and my professionalism into the Crooked Tea. Listen, and I know what he's really trying to do. What he's really trying to do, he's trying to make sure that Crooked Tea is sold in Philly at the stadium. Hey, can I?
Man. He knows where he's gonna get his love.
Man, I listen. Congratulations to a guy like BG. His press conference when he's, officially retiring, and watching Jalen Hurts look at it, Nick Sirianni look at him. That's respect, man. Because people call retirement press conferences for 2 reasons. One, obviously, I want to announce to the world I'm moving on. 2, I want to see who's going to show up. Because you don't send out invites. You don't say, hey, I'm doing a post. You put it out there. You know the news going to be there. But you're like, dang, man. There go the GM. There go the head coach. There go my teammates. There go. Because that lets you know because BG's, his what he means, his imprint on the Philadelphia Eagles organization, it ain't Brian Dawkins because no one's is, but it ain't far from. Nobody has an imprint like Brian Dawkins. When I think Eagles, I think Brian Dawkins. Like, you might think Randall Cunningham, Ron Jaworski, but BG, man, he loved Philly and Philly loved him back. He gave it up for Philly. Trash talker, brash, bold. Hey, man, congratulations to him, man. I like the fact that he's launching all his stuff. And isn't his website like Dallas Sucks or something like that?
Yeah. One of the sponsors that's like through the team. They basically opened up a website and was started the DallasSucks.com, and so BG's kind of attached to that too. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, man, he's a BG gets it, man, and he's a guy that BG reminds me a lot of like a Michael Strahan. BG is letting people know my post playing career is gonna be just as epic, if not more, than my playing career. Because now I get to really show people. I don't have to worry about training camp. I don't got to worry about chasing Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in training camp. I don't got to worry about going up against, Johnson and company in training. I'm sick of that. I'm not gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss the locker room and the players and the stories and learning about the culture of these players. But as far as practice done, over with, no more. I'm gonna come to training camp and laugh. Like, man, they just blew the whistle. You got to get over there to that drill. Because I've done all I've given all I can give at this point.
Yeah, so got a little bit more information on it. It's definitely hard tea for sure, and it's they offered flavors from lemon tea, peach tea, raspberry tea, and it is absolutely an unapologetic alcohol blend.
Hey man, I ain't crooked, and the fact that with all the teas names there is, Crooked Tea was available. Crooked Tea, okay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and everybody wants to have their their own brand of something like it. And yes, you want to be popular, yes, you want to sell, but I think Philly, the city of the state of Pennsylvania, those fans, they'll Crooked Tea. Listen, go get you something. I'm gonna tell my brother is an Eagles fan. I'm gonna say BG got Crooked Tea. Well, he definitely gonna have a. He definitely gonna have a couple of cards, a couple of crates coming to his crib, just so he can tell the rest of his neighborhood, we all don't do it like us. What kind of tea you drinking? It ain't Crooked Tea. So shout out to BG.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Ben's in. Let me see if this is working. You hear us, Ben?
Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Very good. 1 second.
I can
Take
hear
your time, my friend.
I'm trying to start the cam.
There you go.
There it is.
There he is.
What's going on?
How you doing today, my friend?
Busy as always, my friend. Busy as always.
Isn't it always? So, for people who don't know, this is Mr. Ben Williams, NFL veteran. Played Minnesota, played at a bunch of different places. Was even here in Philadelphia for a short period of time.
Yeah, I was actually. Look, I just heard you guys talking about Philadelphia. It was quite the experience.
Well, what was it like for you when you were here? I mean, obviously, we're talking more than 20 years now, but how was it? What was your memories of Philadelphia?
First day I got there, the old vet Bobby Taylor's Porsche got stolen in the parking lot. So it was a welcome to Philadelphia moment.
Well, at least I know C.J. Gardner-Johnson wasn't the only one. And actually, speaking of cars, me and Ben like to make fun about this, but I just came across it. A.J. Brown pulled up to the stadium during the playoffs in a Honda, and Ben's like, "That's not his real car. That's not his real car." Well, here's some proof. A couple weeks ago, A.J. Brown pulling up in his Rolls Royce, taking photos in there. But yeah, man, you got to have a dummy car in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I mean, some of these college kids these days have a better parking lot than the NFL right now.
Yeah. I mean, with the fact that the NIL is doing its thing, these kids are being paid for their likenesses and things like that. I mean, Yeah, the college parking lots do be looking a little bit more flashier than the NFL one does at this point in time. So,
yeah, I think Ben would actually agree. If we could go back to college right now, it would be a profitable venture right now to actually go back to college right now.
They would be sick of me. You know why they'll be sick of me if I was in college right now? Because I get the money. Everybody want their money. I want my money. I get it. But no one's really taking advantage of the fact that I'm asking KFC for chicken. Hey, man, I want free chicken for next 10 years. Because you got to think. You got to think about it. If we're saying, hey, I want AMC gift cards for the next, I want $100 gift card from AMC for the next 20 years. Because what happens is the branding aspect of it is not what, because everybody wants the money, and I get it. But the money's going to ebb and flow based on the position you play, how much leverage you have, the school you play at. Whereas I want to be like, hey, man, Ben's outside. Who? You know the guy that come in with the U-Haul truck? Oh, God. Yeah, and because in college, the one thing people forget to think is, listen, we all, the one thing that brought us together, we was all broke. No one had.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, people go, how you know who the freshmen at college? They deck down. And whatever school they go to, we wearing that every day. Now, the upperclassmen, they might wear regular clothes. They might have a couple of T-shirts. A little bit more. Told them to take it. But I think that's how I look at NIL, is to say, how can I sign a contract that, even because everybody's not going to be no All-American, everybody ain't getting drafted, everybody ain't. And this is even you go to P5. I want to say I want a 5-year contract after my last game at said school that you guys are going to give me a set number of goods and services, because in doing that, now we talking about something. Because it's only one Arch Manning, right?
Yeah,
These
I agree with that.
asking for millions. So if I'm a tight end, all right. So most people don't know what that is. The average person, you know how many people only know who Travis Kelce is because of Taylor Swift? They don't know.
Yeah, but
I say, hey, do you know that Taylor Swift boyfriend play football? Yeah, pretty freaking good at it too. Pretty freaking good at it too. So for me, if I'm in college, I'm saying to myself, how can I want to be the brand guy. Now, do I want to get money? Yeah, because guess what the brand's going to do? They say, man, what brand you got? That's going to make brands that want to give me money think I'm getting more money than I'm getting. Hey, dude, I went to Florida, so you know Gatorade is on there. Gotta get Gatorade, right? But then you talking about, I like hats. Give me some free hats. Give me some free beads. But I'm a lot younger then. So I'm not thinking like this. I'm thinking, when I was in college, I'm thinking, hey, man, Ben, we're going to give you 10 grand. You give me 10,000? What? I need that. Because now they talking millions, man. They talking, I can't
that's
come
a
back.
joke right now. What's the kid in the news right now from
Nico. You talking about the kid
Tennessee?
Nico from Tennessee.
Yeah, and I actually calculated what his actual per week would be. The deal that he turned down would be $48,000 per month, I think.
Listen.
Can I get a loan?
That's 48 per month
Man,
as a college kid.
It's a different world. It's a different world.
And Ben can attest to this. The biggest controversy or thought process I had as a freshman in the Big Ten was worried about how I was going to pay for Domino's and cheap beer.
Just imagine. Okay,
$40,000 a month.
well, Ben, think about that. Think about you come to my crib. I'm like, what you want? And then you like, dude, look at all that pizza you got in there, bro. Don't worry about what's in my career. And because the thing about it is we need to stop thinking that just because I'm in college, I'm good at life. No, man, I eat candy. I play video games. I just can play a sport. Florida got a player in basketball named Olivier. He's 7'9", and he plays video games. Now looking at him, he hasn't played basketball. I think the thing about it is, most people's parents ain't dealing with no hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. So son or daughter, they making more money in a year than people make in a lifetime. And I'm talking about the quarterbacks. Once again, at the tight end.
Let's be factual.
Yeah. No, it's a Nico.
Let's be factual about it. Right now, some of these guys.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
I was about to say some of these guys these days, I'm not actually sure if the ultimate goal is to make it in professional football, because
Mhm.
if you can make the type of money these guys make in college right now, what is your motivation to really put out and play at a high level? If you could walk away from college with 10 million, $11 million in the bank,
The likelihood of
there's no motivation.
that unless your last name is Sanders or Hunter and you got a Deion Sanders letting you know, hey man, y'all boys got to still be hungry. And y'all listen, we know y'all gonna get y'all. I mean, there ain't the best branding marketing person in the world is Deion. This dude came out the womb knowing how to do it. But that's still rare when you talk about the rest of
Hmm.
these youngsters, because the one thing being we can say coming out of college was this: we ain't have no debt. I ain't get no money, but I ain't got no debt either. Now, I I mean the one thing you learn about the NFL is what tax bracket am I in? 33. What? Yeah, man. And that's no matter where you
You're
live.
gonna give up a lot of
Yeah.
yeah,
So
you're gonna give up a lot of that off the bat. I mean, but have you guys actually looked at this NIL listing? I'm gonna tell you one of the most shocking things and that hit me after looking at that list. We hear a lot of conversations about equity and college sports and equity in sports, period. Do you know they have a gymnast who's in the top five at LSU, is one of the most highest paid NIL people on the planet? And I had never heard of it.
because she can be in the Olympics.
Is that what
Oh,
it is?
and yeah, the women athletes are the most popular. What? Listen,
Yeah, they're yeah,
way more.
I mean, I
probably
think
more marketable.
it's a good balance though. If you think about it, it's not just the football players, the basketball players. The fact that you do have some of these female athletes that are getting more money than some of the football players and basketball players. I think it shows that it's working. I mean, you do have some people who feel that this is damaging to college sports and things of that nature. I don't see it that way. I think it's finally being evened out. I do think there should be some type of regulation cap, some type of guardrails for this, so it doesn't get out of hand. But I think the NIL is going in the right way. We
What
just
do you
have
mean
to
by guardrail?
just
What do
meaning
you mean by
like
guardrails?
to see what we're doing with this kid now, how he's leaving Tennessee and he's demanding X amount of money to go sign and go play for another college. I think we need to put some type of cap via position, etc. To have to sit there and say, like, if you're holding out, sitting there saying you're not playing unless you get this amount of money, I don't think that should be an option.
Well, that's a portal issue. That's not an actual NIL issue. That's a portal issue. And Ben can actually tell you he played in the SEC and I played in the Big Ten. And at the time I was in school, uh, that wasn't an option to actually transfer parallel
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
from a major conference to a major conference. If I chose to leave my school in the Big Ten, I had to go to like NAIA or SEC or MEAC type school. You actually had to go down. So now, I mean, I think it's more of a transfer portal issue than a NIL issue, because if you look, I read some of the statistics about the amount of players right now that are in the portal each year. It's wholly changed the dynamic of college football recruiting, because college coaches right now are more apt to pull a kid who is a junior or senior out of the NIL portal rather than a veteran player for 2 years and can continue that cycle. So I think the transfer portal is hurting more than NIL, because you look at the average amount of freshmen going to portal kids now.
Yeah, it's something we were discussing the other day. Like maybe there should be an X amount of times that you can transfer
Mm-hmm.
Where like if you've transferred from a school within the last 14 months or something like that, you can't apply to transfer again unless there's a coaching change or something to that effect. Not just like, all right, the season's over, I didn't get what I wanted here, I'm going to go hop in the transfer portal and we'll see what happens where I end up next year.
Yeah, but the thing about that is this. If you look at the best players, the correlation is who coached them, and what school they went to, Everything a player does.
I think beyond that, I think coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Ben, think about this though. Everything a player does, a coach showed him. Nico is from California. He's Polynesian. You think he know what Tennessee was? No. Yeah. That boy knew about UCLA, USC.
No, he did not.
He knew about that. So Tennessee said, "I want to give you almost
Utah. Utah.
Yeah,
and that's why he came.
Yeah, so, all right. So Ben, let's switch. Ben Williams is from.
Like I said, I understand that.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I'm from Mississippi, my man. So yeah.
No. I know you're from Mississippi, but what I'm saying is, okay, you from Mississippi. A team UW won't Ben Williams. Only Washington you know about is like me, DC. I don't even know that Washington is a real state.
I didn't. Yeah. I had no clue about Washington. So you make a great point, but nowadays I'll agree in some measure that it's the highest bidders these days. But believe me. But think about this. Think about your time in college. How much to actually make up the time that you were in college?
How much what?
Astronomical amounts of revenue. I looked at the revenue 2 years ago. I'll give you an example. I looked at the revenue 2 years ago of Alabama's college program. They equaled the same amount of revenue as the top 1/4 of NFL franchises.
I mean, listen. It's always gonna come. You know what's crazy about the Nico situation? Out of all the players, since we've been having NIL, we got one holdout. It's only been one, and it wasn't even a hold. See, this is the thing, right? I blame Tennessee. They said that Nico
is it only one? Let me think.
Oh, it's only.
No, I take that back. Hey Ben, guys. Didn't the quarterback from UNLV? Didn't the quarterback from UNLV do the same thing last year?
No. He didn't do the. I know you talk. He didn't do the same thing. It's Ben. It's always going to be about. To me, Nico plays for Tennessee, high profile. They went to the college football playoffs, right? And what they're saying is, you gonna leave us? You gonna go to another school? Okay, well, what did Carson Beck from Georgia do? He left Georgia. He's at Miami. He got his money. He didn't hold out. They said that Nico's entire camp came to Tennessee in January about renegotiating. And they said that Tennessee was like, well, dude, why were we negotiating? Mm-hmm. They said that Nico's daddy told Josh Heupel in Tennessee, Coach Heupel, did you renegotiate since you've been here? Yeah. Oh, so you can renegotiate as a coach based off what the player you recruited helped you do. But God forbid that the player, because you had Hendon Hooker, he didn't go to college football playoff. You had Joe Milton, he didn't go to college football playoff. Now, I don't think that Nico is better than Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker. He still went to the college football playoff.
I agree with that.
So I think what happens is, if Nico's last name is Williams and his daddy's name is Ben, you're gonna do the same thing. You know why? Because you saying, wait a minute, Coach Heupel. You're gonna say Coach Heupel got what? He just got a big old extension. and basically what they're saying is this: if I can negotiate almost $9 million before my son ever plays a snap, you're willing to give him that, and you don't know what he's gonna be. You already said yes to that. Now, hey man, I got a little track record now. I'm not saying that either side is wrong. Nico did what was best for him. Tennessee did what was best for them, right? Because Tennessee thought, hey, Nico, we giving you this money. You should be humble. The number one quarterback in 2025 who's supposed to go to LSU, he's at Michigan because they gave him more money. So, like you said, the highest bidder going to happen, but we are willing to change everything for one holdout. Only one dude has done it.
I'll agree with that because let's look at the situation at Texas. We talk about a player's family, a player's Q rating, marketability, name, and all this stuff. What you give me one factor that played into the amount of money that Arch Manning got at Texas? It was his family lineage and the fact of his both of his uncles were Eli and Peyton Manning. That's what got him paid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, people said somebody said so I'm doing something last week, and somebody said, Tiger Woods' son play golf. What? Tiger Woods' son play golf. What else is he gonna do? What else is Tiger Woods? Go to college and try to be a good teammate? I'm just saying, people, listen. If you've ever had leverage in this life, you're gonna use it. Because it don't last now. I got to use it while I got it. I just think that the 99.9% of players get whatever they get and they go play. Because you know why? NIL is only talked about when there is no football. Right now, there is no football. Because when the season kick off, this is only when nothing's going on and this Nico kid going to end up back in California at USC or UCLA or maybe UW or Oregon. But until coaches have to live up to their contracts, which they don't do ever, don't get mad at these players. Because Lincoln Riley went to USC. What was going on in Oklahoma? Nothing. Oklahoma was fine. But I can get, $15 million, access to a private jet. His family got access to a private jet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all the time. So It's the perks. It's the perks. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a right or a wrong, but you know whose fault this is? This is the NCAA. What are they doing? Nothing. And they want Congress to do it. They want Congress to do it. So we'll see.
That's a mistake. We already talked about that. That's a mistake. Go ahead.
We know why they want Congress to intervene because who do you think Congress is going to side with?
The institutions. Yeah, the institutions.
Yeah, the institutions and the coaches. I mean, they aren't gonna give leverage on the side of the player, and I understand that. So that's why they want some congressional, intervening. But like I said, for years, and all of us know, for years, college football has made an astronomical amount of money, and now the tables. I'm not going to say they are equal right now, but it's becoming fairly close to equilibrium right now, and a lot of people aren't happy about that.
I totally agree with that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just no. I'm NIL to me as simply as this. It's who's benefiting, not that they benefiting. If the wrong people benefiting, people don't like that. They're gonna give them what? Yeah, these are the same people. And people say, well, I don't think football players and basketball players should get that. Okay, well, could you do what they do? No. Could you do that? No.
I think the only controversy that I see, because they can cry about who gets paid, but I think the only thing that's going to produce a problem down the line is you're going to have about 10 to 15 true halves, and you're going to have about 100 have-nots. Because if you look at some of the NIL rankings and who has the big piles of money, it's fairly limited. So some of these, even just say in the SEC, how is Kentucky going to compete with Florida and Tennessee and Alabama? I mean, it's not going to be equitable across the plane, because who did I look up a few weeks ago who has the craziest amount of money? I thought before I researched it that Texas has the biggest, gold cash of money, but it's actually Texas A&M. Their A&M has an astronomical amount of money. I don't know, and Ben, you might remember him, but the guy who's over their whole NIL, do you remember a tight end that played here with the Vikings with me? His name was Hunter Goodwin.
Yes.
Hunter Goodwin is the guy over there NIL at Texas A&M.
That's a lot of power. If you remember, this was Jimbo Fisher's maybe his fourth or fifth year. They had the number one recruiting class in the country, and somebody had a camera on a recruiter. I don't know if he was a GA, and they asked him, how y'all do that? And he said, cuz, man, we paid him. He don't know he's not supposed to say that out loud. They fired him. They fired him. But it's going to be a correlation. Who had the most who spent the most NIL money in 2024? That was Ohio State. Who won the national championship? Ohio State, right? And I get it. And it comes down to I can't. Yes, I was blessed to be at the University of Florida. I was a top tight end. I was drafted in the second round. I am still the perception of the I'm the exception of the exception. I'm thinking about it like this. If NIL across the board doesn't benefit every single athlete, regardless of sport, regardless of gender, it don't work. Because we don't mind. Listen, I don't mind if the quarterback get the biggest check. I better get something. And when I say something, it might not be monetary, but they talking about Arch Manning. Remember that play they kept showing with Arch Manning running? He's the fastest. He ran like 20-something miles. Right. Was that against SEC talent? No. He didn't play no meaningful football in 2024. But
the common consumer of football doesn't understand that, though. There are people who think playing football at North Dakota State is the same as playing in the SEC every Saturday, and that's it's not the same.
Yeah. It's a for everybody that think that leverage don't matter. Do you really think the Mannings, Eli, and Peyton would have the post career they're having without that lineage?
Yeah, without Archie, yeah. So you make a point, but I'm going to touch on one more point that you're going to start seeing, because I actually had this conversation in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago with Antonio Langham, and I asked him, like, straight out, like, what made Nick Saban leave Alabama? He said, Ben, seriously, he said that the issue was for years when Nick was winning all those national championships, he had the ability to control and recruit guys, and his selling message was, hey, you come to University of Alabama, we're going to win a national championship, you're going to get drafted in the first 2 rounds. Now, he said Nick walked away because he didn't have that control anymore. He said Nick told him the first question that recruits that would come there that he would go visit, the first question they would ask him was, how much?
And he was honest about it too. Nick Saban said it out loud too. He said, look, I can't control them like I used to. It used to be, and I respect honesty. Like when he goes, look, man, what I used to say used to be gold. What I used to say used to be, hey man, listen to coach yelling and screaming. Now, Kirby Smart comes out and says, dude, we got to have film sessions on toughness. How to deal with tough coaching. And I'm like, listen, to the point where we have to have cell phone policies. Hey, leave them outside. You can't even let them. It's a different world.
I can't even imagine that, man. Can you imagine that?
And I played under Steve Spurrier my first 2 years at Florida, and Ron Zook my last 2 years. Coach Spurrier, I mean, to be a coach, regardless of the level you coach in 2025, boy, you are a magician, because every player thinks they're the best player. Every player thinks they're the next Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or Saquon Barkley, and they're the third string running back.
Hey, but look, guys, let's be honest about this. This is not only relegated to the NCAA in college football right now. Like, I do a lot of stuff with our legends here with the Minesota Vikings, and I went over I'm at training camp every year, and I couldn't believe like some of the rules that are implemented in actually NFL right now. If a guy ever tells me that right now they cannot make it through training camp in the NFL, I'm going to walk away. Yeah. They're limited the amount of days that you actually can practice in pads. Training camp right now actually looks like our OTAs and mini camps used to look.
Yeah. And man, these players, when they be interviewing players after practice, when they have to sit in between like NFL Network or something, they ain't sweating hard. They joking like, yeah, we did this. Man, you know how hard it would have been to interview guys? Like back in the day, guys would be like, they'll say, I don't want to talk. I don't want to.
Dude, I like it boggled me. I'm like, why in the world would anybody want to miss training camp these days? Training camp is like, it's like I said, it's a modified it's 2 levels above minicamp, pretty much.
And you've been not hit the star wide receiver.
No.
You
Dude,
hit the
I was
star
watching.
wide. I remember when you can't hit the quarterbacks. I get it, but you used to be able to thud the star receiver. Like you can't take them to the ground.
don't
Justin
do that
Jefferson
anymore.
out there. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Anderson out there just running around. Why
Dude,
they even out on pass if you can't touch it? Hey, coach,
it is
champ
like,
too hard off the line.
I'm not knocking them because they might hear this, but legitimately, it's bona fide flag football doing practice right now. And I don't. From the first thing I thought about was how do you get ready for the physicality of an NFL season or even preseason? Because I've heard I've been privy to some of the negotiations, like the NFL wanting to actually cut down on some of the preseason games. My question is, how do you actually physically get ready for an NFL season right now? You see a lot of these soft tissue injuries early in the season. And someone asked me that question, what do you attribute that to? I said, I simply attribute it to the fact that these guys aren't used to the contact of game speed. I think they're limited to like 8 contact practices, like the entire training camp, or some less than that. And during the year, it's almost entirely obsolete. So that's why you see a heightening in some of these soft tissue injuries because guys aren't used to it anymore.
You ain't wrong there, Ben. Because like, if you look at it across the board, it's not just in the NFL. Like, go look at what we see in the NBA. I think it's one of the major reasons why a lot of fans tune out because these guys are missing this game and that game because they're not really putting the work in for their bodies to be ready for the upcoming season. And it's one of these things like you were already sitting there saying we week 1, week 2 in the season, this guy has a pulled hamstring, this guy does this. It's just because the practices, the mini camps, the OTAs, you're really not allowed to hit these guys, whether it be from a player safety standpoint because we're trying to limit contact, concussions, things of that nature. To a point, I get that, but also I think you're taking away what helps these guys get ready for the rigor of what is going to be in an NFL season.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
the strain is you got to as much as you might didn't like some of the methodology of these old school coaches,
it worked.
It worked. Like
It worked.
like to the point where now training camp. If you ain't coming in the first day questioning, dude, I'm still doing this. Training camp is great. It's like you don't remember sleeping. You don't remember eating anything. It's like you go to bed, you get right back up, and coaches love it. Coaches,
Ben, I got to give. I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with this. I laughed so hard. We were with a group of guys in Hawaii, and we were talking about the design of the actual training camp schedule. And we joked. I told one of the guys, "This is the average training camp schedule: breakfast, be out on the field early for 2 days, meet, lunch, meet some more, meet again, meet about what you met about earlier, meet again, another practice, eat, meet again about their previous meeting." I'm like, the amount of meetings that are implemented into your day. I actually used to think the theory was, how can we sleep deprive you in a day and not let you rest?
yeah, 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 and you know what I used to count? I used to count how many days it took us because the first day ain't passed yet. Them coaches trying to get the full pass. So, and once the pads come on, they doing everything to not take them off. They'll say, "All right, we're gonna be in shoulder pads and shorts." Because if you play on the O line, D line, dude, you got to get. It's like a box of throwing punches. I almost got to get my body ready for for contact. I got to get my no. We used to say that, right? We used to say, "Coach, we got to get ready for contact," and our coach, you got to get ready for collisions.
Yeah,
that's what's about to happen. Contact is you touch somebody with your finger is contact. You can come into contact with something. No, you got to get ready for the fact that as a linebacker, you hitting somebody every play. As a
you make a great point, but I'll even up that and ask you guys a question. Right now, if you are not a returning veteran coming into training camp right now, just say you're a backup tight end here, Tennessee, Dallas, anywhere, right? How do you set yourself apart as I can really block, or I can be really productive in the run game, or just say myself as a D lineman? How do I show that I can stop a dive or a trap or a counter play? There's no 9-on-7 anymore. There is. I mean, 101s are like pretty much without pads. So how if a guy is not slotted a 1 or 1A, how do you separate yourself these days without the ability to show that you could be physical? How do you know who's a blocking tight end right now?
You don't. You don't. You know what? You have to. That's a great question. You have to, in situations like that, you got to have enough cachet, enough veteran stripes on the wall to say, Coach, which certain players will do this, man. You need to implement this. Like, because what's going to happen is, right, people will go, why can't nobody stop the run like they used to? Because you don't practice against it no more. But 907 used to be called get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
All that cute, listen, all that cute stuff.
It's out the window. It's out the window. 907, you really figured out how many guys really enjoy football. Because when 9-on-7 period came, that would set the tempo for practice. The problem is right now, you make a great point that a veteran player could possibly say, hey, you know what, Coach, let's pick it up a notch. So let's have a full, 25 play, 20 play, 9-on-7. The problem is now you can't. The NFL has a person at every facility that counts the amount of days that you in pads. So I think the limit is like 8. So I want you to think about this. In the entire training camp, they have a guy at the facility here. They have a guy there doing training camp, OTAs during the season, and when he sits there in a blue cap and writes down, this counts as 1 padded day. So if you decide to put him on, guess what? I think the limit is like 8 or 9. So imagine a full season, 17 games of football, and you have less than 10 opportunities to actually play at a simulated game speed. And I get as someone who works for the NFLPA right now, I understand the fact of head trauma and some of the studies we've done about injuries and such. But, if you look at the physicality of the game, I think it's actually causing more injuries when guys don't get their body actually used to the contact and physicality of the game.
Mm-hmm. It's like this. Training camp hits you quick. You've been working out, doing all you can to stay in the best shape you can, getting ready for training camp. After that first day, and you wake up in the morning, your body is reacting to it. Everybody's sluggish. Everybody quarterbacks walking by people with their little, they got their little, they ice bags. Listen, look at us like, hey man, it was crazy yesterday, right? Why? Because why? Do your pitch count? Your 150 throws? It's one of those things that, when Ray Lewis used to say, it's supposed to hurt. Like, you're supposed to feel it. You're supposed to feel it in a way. People going, hey man, how do you get a break in practice and training camp? A fight. Somebody just getting a fight.
Listen. He is not telling a lie one bit, because I'll give you an example. So every year in Minnesota, we used to scrimmage Kansas City, and guys will get tired of like scrimmaging. And I mentioned them earlier. Just say like day 2 or that second practice of scrimmage against a team, and team guys like, dude, we're tired. The guy I just mentioned to you earlier, Hunter would start a fight and they would call practice off. That's how you screw up, like when you get sick of contact.
Oh, yeah, we gonna listen. The heat. I mean, Jimmy Johnson say the heat will make cows over all. No, heat pisses you off. You like, because at a certain point, D linemen and O linemen naturally do not like each other. It's a natural. We do not like. Yeah, D linemen don't think offensive guard, interior D linemen don't think offensive guards that good. They got center help, dude. You are not that good by yourself. You got somebody, on your right hip.
That's gonna chip you if you come free.
This is how it starts. An offensive guard and a D tackle don't like each other. Yeah. One thinks one's athletic, the other one thinks the other is not. D tackles go, you're not that athletic. You're not. I don't care what they say. You're in a phone booth. when you see the D lineman pointing at when the D lineman is pointing at the guard saying, and you hear these words, one more time, it's gonna be a fight next play. It's gonna be a fight.
One more time, are you holding? One more time, you getting help, set me up, you get in the ribs. Yeah, practice gonna get called off there.
Oh yeah, you know what? Y'all, and here's a fight. A fight is gonna be a lot of energy for about 10 seconds. It's a lot of energy. After that, and that first punch better land. If I miss the first one, and you can't break your hand, you can, and it's more of acting. Because what happens is, as players, we trying to make it a big fight. So one fight is supposed to ignite the both teams, and we end up pushing.
A bench clearing fight.
Yeah, you want the coach to say,
let's call this off.
That's enough of that today. We sitting there at the practice where coach is saying that's nonsense. We gotta act like we mad. Yeah, man. Fellas, we gotta do better than that. We like, good job, boy.
We get to go back and get some. Hey, we get to go back and get some air conditioning for the rest of the day.
Of course. I mean, them inter squad scrimmages really made football what it was, because when you getting ones on ones, they done talked up to both squads. Hey, look, man, we don't like them. They don't like us. But veterans know how to practice. They practice hard, but they still take care of each other. They know how to do it. Yeah. But a rookie might blow somebody up. Yeah. So
so look, Ben, we used to have a term called brother-in-law. Brother-in-law.
That's what they call us. That's what they do.
Brother-in-law to me, like, look, man, look, we got 30 plays a team. Hey, I'm gonna do a lot of grunting and act like I'm pad rushing hard. Hey, on run plays, let's make a lot of noise and fall on the ground. Don't do all this extra stuff today.
Oh yeah. Listen. You just look at them. Listen, after about the first day, you like, listen, nothing extra. I'm telling the safeties. I'm telling the linebackers, listen, man, I'm gonna catch some. I'm gonna let you make some plays on some. Yeah. You know, because at the end of the day, we want to put out good tape. And like you say,
make it look good and sound good.
Listen, nothing crazy. Because sometimes I said, listen, I saw you over there talking to your coach. Whatever he told you, don't do that now. Listen. I respect you. You respect me. I say, that coach gonna get you hurt out here now. You see that guy talking to you? I said, listen to him. And then when he go, and then when he say something stupid, now we done had a conversation as athletes. You done let what the coach tell you get in between, and when you say, well, true, it is what it is. All right. If that's how it's gonna be, because cool. We can handle it like that, because I think sometimes you appreciate veterans for this. A veteran can shut down a whole practice. Hey, we ain't doing that out here. I don't care what that. I don't care if his last name Belichick, Parcells, Lombardi. We control between these lines. So we don't do that. We don't. If you chopping a guy, you know how to chop him without taking. That's how he make his money below the knees. Now because certain times, man, veterans let these coaches know. Hey, coach,
we ain't doing that today.
We ain't doing that today. It's hot out here. We want everybody to walk off this field healthy. Because if somebody get hurt, if a key player get hurt for something stupid,
right.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what. If all of us could show up the first day of training camp, I don't know how much time you guys actually spend around programs today, dude. I honestly I don't know why guys even need a shower anymore during training camp right now, because it's that bad.
It's just
I'm not knocking it. Football, every era that when you played in football, the era before says they were tougher. The era before that says that they were tougher. But these days, it's not a lot of old school contact football. I'm like, I had these guys. You don't even need a shower. What are you going in the shower for? I mean, for what?
The fact them boys, they say the boys are making plans. Hey, I'll meet y'all at the spot. This is in between practice. In between. One time
they can do that now.
One time we when I was with the Titans, we practiced at a college called Austin P, and it wasn't that far from Nashville, probably about 30 minutes. And one time, coach gave us like a day off. He gave us like a day off. Jokers was speeding so fast up out of Clarksville, Tennessee, and people like, where y'all going? And they're like, look, man,
what?
we don't love football as much as coaches do. We love to play. They love football. They're like, man, coaches say stuff like, hey man, you want to come by my house to get some food? Hell no, I don't need no.
No, I'm going out to kick it.
I'm going home. I'm not. You listen. I'm not gonna be TikToking, Snapchatting. I'm at the crib trying to get every ounce of relaxation because it don't fit. Because when you get back, coaches think they did you a favor. Hey man, I took care of you. I had Jeff Fisher, man. He took care of us, man. He really, really did it. Because the greatest day of training camp is the last day. Hey man, listen, we finna go back to the facility because I go coach. I'm starting to see double and triple, man. Like I can only run this route so many more times. At a certain point, we know what everybody's gonna do. Like this, I did this pass rush move, but it's training camp is when you learn a lot about your teammates. You learn a lot of camaraderie, a lot of laughs. You got to laugh in training camp at each other because if not, these super serious military born and raised players, man, you don't get the hell out of here with that. Go on, man. I don't want to be in. Let's talk about
that era. That era is gone, though. I'm gonna add something else to the equation that I'm not sure if you had it at the end of your career, but I'm gonna tell you something that I didn't know was implemented every day during practice and even on game day right now. You guys do know that they have RFID readers in the pads now, right? So just say like when we were talking about brother-in-law earlier about, hey man, I'm going to take it easy and pass rush. I'm going to take it easy in team. Every movement you have on the field, from O2 output to recovery time to heart rate to effort, and just say I tight end, you ran a go route. Like they know your average speed on that route right now. They have RFID chips in pads right now, so they can track momentum, heart rate, recovery time, like everything right now. So the theory of two players brother-in-law is still there, but they actually negotiate off of some of these metrics right now. Hey, you were at this amount of mile per hour during the season last year, your first year of your contract. That has dipped 2 miles an hour in the last 2 years. That's a negotiating tactic these days.
They don't, and the players don't realize that. Listen, man, your RPMs was up here, man. I mean, now on 3rd down and 6 and 3rd down and 8, But see that. Listen, when I was leaving the NFL, they would say, "Listen, man, said the numbers about to affect the whole game." Them guys in the corner that look like the Geek Squad at Best Buy, they about to affect the whole game because coaches,
they could.
Oh my God.
They could end your career. Because I've seen some of the surface pads. Every play, I don't care if it's 60 plays, they can look at your effort compared to where your baseline effort is, your recovery time, heart rate, like everything is measured.
Well, I mean, so think about that negotiation, man. You sitting there saying, "Yeah, man, I had 8.5 sacks, man. I had a good season." Yeah, but
guess what? Your average get off was slower. Your actual turning the corner was slower. Your chasing the ball was slower. It's a softer game, but it's a lot more metrics that go into the games these days because they track, and I get the reason. All of us know what happened post this concussion lawsuit, but the dynamics of how football are played right now are much different than they historically were because everything, I'm not going to say everything is about player safety right now, but the NFL does not want to get sued, and they're going to control as much as they possibly can to try to inhibit that from happening.
They're getting that data. They're getting that data on you just in case you want to go to court. You want to go to court?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, really?
We got a stack of stuff on you this week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's what confuses me about what they did with the kickoff rule this year, because they were sitting there saying, well, this is another one of the dangerous plays that we have just because of how far these guys are running, hitting each other and things like that. And then now they're changing the rule again because there was just too many touchdowns.
that is the silliest rule ever. And you can ask Ben. I understand why it has gotten to this point. But the first rule change was that we couldn't use a wedge anymore. The wedge was probably, and Ben will probably agree with this, the most dangerous play during a football game was if you were a five or the wedge bust on your team, that wedge caused more guys to get CTE and head trauma than any play in football. They banned that and even went beyond you couldn't do a wedge, but this kickoff situation last year, I'm not really sure how many fans actually enjoyed seeing that version of a kickoff.
Well, that's the perception game. The one thing you mentioned, NFL doesn't want to get sued. The NFL wants to player safety it's a catchphrase word, but they got to make it look like they're trying to do it because people say, okay, have you ever ran down on a punt return or a punt? You talking about something?
Most people don't know.
No. Here's the thing. What about field goal block? It gets listen. Them trenches get
It gets nasty in there. But it's a different game now. There are so many factors that go into trying to, I don't want to say policing football, but some of the rules that have to do with it. Because I give you an example. Let's go back 10, 15 years in football, okay? You might have had 5, 6, 7 kickers that could really kick this thing out of the end zone every time on the kickoff. All of these guys, these days, they can kick it in the first row if they want to. So the dynamics of the game have changed a lot. Specialized balls on game day right now. I mean, everything is designed to try to put a better product out there and more exciting for people to actually watch the game. I couldn't believe how much time was actually spent on prepping balls for quarterbacks and kickers in our leagues right now. Each one of those balls probably takes about 4 hours to work out.
Oh yeah, they'll show it. They'll show you. Like I said, you said earlier, man. A lot of people don't know what they're looking at. They'll say, "Do you know how much time prep they put on those balls?" And the people that got to catch the ball, or they be like, hey, "Man, you take the ball out the pack, make sure it's pumped up right. Let's go. Do the little rub down."
No.
Nowadays they roll the balls in. They having an equipment meeting.
You're telling the absolute. There's a company in Columbus, Ohio, that everybody sends their balls to, because you have a select number of balls during the NFL game that are eligible to be used by a quarterback and to be used by a kicker. Teams send those balls to a company in Ohio that scrub them, put dirt on them, oil them to the perfect feel that a quarterback wants to feel, and the opposite with a kicker. The kickers want them harder. So the amount of it's not like the old days. A ball comes out of a pack, somebody pumps it up to a certain PSI, and guys go out there and play. It's a
place in Columbus, it's a place in Ohio. Guys walk around with they got like the long white robes on. They got the goggles on. And they're looking at footballs like this. Like
he's not. Ben is telling the absolute truth. It's a science. It's a science right now to try to get these balls, right. And I don't actually know what right is, because the game was played way before any of us ever played, and I don't think it was that much work put into football then. But like I said,
I get the equipment man though, like being the center of attention. Like I get that part, but then you finally made it to listen, man. I want to be an equipment man. My dad was one, so I'm in the NFL. Dude, what was you doing all day yesterday, man? Scrubbing that freaking football. Just one. Like you got to get it. Yeah. I mean, and mind you, listen, I understand it's a science. I'm not here to take away the science. Pretty soon somebody gonna write a book on the autobiography of football scrubbing. It's probably coming out on Kindle or ebooks. I ain't taking that away. I'm just saying. Just because you got the money to do it doesn't mean that you should be, only because it's football. Like, it's football, ain't it? Yeah, it's football. Yeah. A quarterback goes, "Oh, this is nice. You feel that? That's nice, ain't it?" Receivers like, "Man, throw the ball, man. Throw the ball." D lineman saying, "I'm gonna get that ball out your hand. if a D lineman ever, picked up a fumble and the ball came out of his hand because of, too much less elasticity on the pigskin. Come on, man. Like, it's football.
But hey, I'm gonna tell you what I wish that fans of football could actually see. Like, when I talk to high school and college kids, they have no idea how advanced football has become. So I give an example. Just say what shoe did you use? Nike, Reebok,
Yeah,
like
I
what
was
did you
Nike.
use? So just say these days you have a contract with Nike, right? Like when I played, just say we wrote down our shoe allotment for that week. You get a shoe out of a box, go out there and break it in during upper days, just running around, whatever. Nike has machines in the locker room right now that they pull a box and they have all the metrics for your foot. They heat that shoe up and put it on your foot. It molds to your foot right now. That's how advanced it is. You don't have to break a shoe in anymore.
So you hold on. So we are
There is
creative. We have
Nike has
creative.
in every locker room right now. There's a Nike machine that's silver about that big. That once Nike gets your information, they choose the shoes that are optimal for your foot. You come in the locker, hey, I need a new pair of molded or spikes, right? They have it already. They pull it. They put it in the machine. They warm that shoe up. You wear it for like 2 minutes. The whole break-in process. I'm going to practice. That's obsolete right now. That shoe will mold to your foot in 2 minutes.
So they treating shoes like mouthpieces. When
It,
it's like,
it
hey,
is.
man,
It will blow your mind right now. How I'm just like, dude, you don't even have to wear a pair of shoes to break them in anymore. No,
we don't got time. Listen, we don't got time. Listen. This shoe. Nike has a hot and ready machine like Little Caesars. It's just right there. It just you put your foot in it. It's ready.
Yeah, I mean, even helmet type right now is a 3D scan. It's not going in there. And I'm gonna try. I'm on a 7.5/8. Helmets are 3D scanned in the inner pads like we used to have the bladder. No. It's like they do a 3D scan of your cranium, and that helmet is chosen and molded to that 3D scan.
I mean,
that's where technology actually makes some good, where you guys don't have to worry about that aspect of it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good and bad because, like I said, I mean, what is the nature of football? What started this game? A bunch of guys with a helmet that was made out of leather that you could put in your back pocket. I think it's taken away some of the physicality and toughness of the game because I understand technology advances in any industry, but dude, right now there is no guesswork in football. I mean, everything from like I'm not gonna. Well, I don't want to say that, but I'll say it. Like some of the things our cafeteria for most of the teams I played for wasn't. I'm not gonna say the food wasn't good, but it wasn't truly dietary type food. On any team right now, yeah, right now, any team you're on right now, they have every meal that you eat in the facility is designed for your performance. It's not like options anymore. You get this many points on this, that many points on this many points on this. This is your meal.
There's so much. Go ahead, Ben.
No. I'm just gonna say when you get it, colleges are doing that too. Like colleges are making it so that like I said, when I played with the Titans, we had a little chef. It wasn't a chef. It was a chef, but it wasn't a chef. Because when I went to Tampa, they had a chef. Like whatever you tell him, he'll make it.
Yeah, but dude, in our cafeteria, we eat catfish and hush puppies at lunchtime.
Hey, listen.
Hey, if John Randall and I laughed about it last week. He was like, dude, do you remember how many guys would be laying on the floor sleeping before we went out to practice? You didn't eat red beans and rice, catfish, cornbread, and a bunch of Diet Coke. Everybody's on the floor before you go out to practice.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the red fish. They give me the red beans and rice. Give me the catfish. Give me the catfish with the deep fried hush peppers.
Yeah.
A Diet Coke.
Dude, you walk in the cafeteria right now. They don't. Somebody's gonna get mad if I say this. There's no soda. There's no pop soda, whatever you want to call it, in the cafeteria for the Vikings right now. Water, performance drinks. There's no soda.
There's a guy that's saying things like, "Can I get some couscous? Can I get some?"
Yeah, dude, it's a different world right now.
They go home and they wives and kids are like, "Daddy, what the hell is this? This is couscous. This is like a substitute for rice. Well, can I get the rice?
Romaine lettuce with vinaigrette on it? No, it's the romaine lettuce with vinaigrette on it. No,
man, stop it.
Dude,
now, Ben, you're part of the NFLPA down there in Minnesota. How did that whole thing come about? And what are some of the things that you do to kind of help players out today?
Well, I mean, I heard you guys speaking earlier about post-career stuff. I mean, as soon as I left football, I mean, I had to transit. Everybody has a period of trying to transition. And the thing that really mattered to me, I was like, I heard Ben say earlier, he wanted to be as successful off the field as he did on the field. And I had to kind of like take a step back and ask myself, what do I need to do to be as marketable and employable as I possibly could off the field? The first stage was education. So I was like, look, everybody, football will open doors for you, but you aren't going to stay with any corporation or business if you aren't really truly qualified to be there. So I took a few years off, kind of, thought about where I wanted to be in corporate America. When I got my MBA, started law school and did some things, and went into corporate America, kind of hung around football, working on the NFL side and compliance for a while. Then I had the opportunity to start working for the NFLPA because I see a lot of the problems we have with former players, from head trauma to obviously one of the things we talked about that Ben spoke about earlier, that transition from actually playing to, what do I want to do the rest of my life? Because, to most average fans of the game, if all of us went to lunch right now at a bar, I think every fan of the game thinks that everyone that played the game has $100 million in the bank. And that's not a reality of our game. I think the statistics are maybe like 5%, 5 or 6% of actually players are actually in that situation that, hey, I'll never have to work a job or do anything for the rest of my life. But for the average every down player, that's not a reality. So, I have a lot of players that come up to me to ask, how can I make that transition? What do I need to do to be marketable in the employment sector? What can I do to live a good life? Because football is a short period of our life. I mean, Ben can attest to that. I played football from 7 years old to the time I was 33. What are you going to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a real problem, and that's why I'm glad like the NFLPA guys like you are out there, so somebody has somebody to reach out to, regardless of if they know you're around, if they know who you are when you played, whatever. That not only, and I also think we don't just need it afterwards. Is when these guys are first coming in the league, that you hear about, they have these symposiums and things of that nature. Yeah. We were making fun of what AJ Brown's doing. Well, also look what Jalen's doing. He's still living in his house that he's had before he even got into the league.
Yeah,
like where you see guys blowing, hundreds of millions of dollars on this mansion, on these cars, on all this stuff they're not going to need as their career progresses. I think Chad Ochocinco said, that he did, all the jewelry and stuff he had. He's like, it was fake. He's like, how do you think I'm able to fly around to?
But you got more regular guys. It's more regular everyday guys in the NFL.
Then those high profile guys.
Because these guys are the guys who have graduated college, already married, have families. These dudes, because a locker room is a very dynamic place, man. You got everything. It's a microcosm of life. It's like a little country club. And then you got guys that, the $100 million guys that talk $100 million. And then it's the rest of the locker room. The rest of the locker, because so what happens is NFLPA guys like being what NFLPA guys can do for a former player, they can talk to you for real. They can say, hey, dude, that pity party stuff ain't gonna work.
No.
You're gonna have to have a plan of what to do. You were at the top of your position, you were at the top of your craft because of what you did athletically.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate world don't care. Outside of a couple of stories, you go in the meeting rooms if you want to. You got to be able to talk that talk, walk the walk. So I do know that when it comes to the players, listen, making a bunch of money and losing a bunch of money happens all the time. What you gonna do? You gonna say, "Oh man, I had this, I had that"? No, those guys that had Peyton Manning, the great Peyton Manning, drove a dealer car his entire career, whether in Denver and in Indy. Those delayed gratification is what was told to us a lot when I was in Tennessee to say, "Look, man, they'll tell us it's not that serious. Y'all act like you got to do something to bring attention to yourself. People know who you are.
They know who you are, yeah."
And I think so, yeah. So it's a, but I will say the NFL does an incredible job, man. Yeah, I mean,
the most difficult thing to actually do is, let's think about this. The difficulty nowadays is how are you going to get that message to a kid that made $9-10 million in college and comes to the NFL and makes similar, if not bigger money, and you're going to try to give them a message at 22, 23 years old. My man, we need to start planning for when you leave football. The guy's been making, the guy was getting $50,000, $60,000 a month as an 18-year-old living in a dormitory. So how do you give that? That's a difficult message because, especially nowadays, because these kids are making the equivalents of practice roster money time 20 right now in the NCAA in college football. So it's a difficult message, but luckily we have some guys on the current player side that are trying to push that message. I got an opportunity to speak to Jameis Winston at our NFLPA leadership conference, and there are a number of guys who are current players who have some understanding of vision of what football is going to be like once they leave it. But still, even like when Ben and I played, there's a predominant amount of that locker room that doesn't have the foresight to actually worry about those type things, and those are the ones that are gonna be problems that I get phone calls from that need assistance from the Player Care Foundation. How do I get insurance? Because, and that's a point I want to touch on. Ben can tell you one of the things that you do not hear about a lot in the media is, as a professional player, and I even say if you are part of a big conference, a Power 5 conference, the amount of things that you have to learn on your own are pretty minimal because as a college player, they're going to take care of your school books, where you got to go to class at. You don't have to worry about insurance. And once you come to the NFL, there are either people within that organization or with your agent, whomever, who are going to do A, B, C, and D, and E. I get calls of guys who don't, who do I talk to about getting health insurance? Where do I go for this, that, and the other? Because people have managed those things your whole life and do not prepare you for the point that service is no longer there.
It's still one of these things where you're gonna have to, as players, as a union, a players association, things of that nature, to try to find those guys to make sure they don't get put in those situations, so they're not as reliant on you. But like you said, it's going to be harder now with the way that the NIL is and NCAA is, where they're already making millions of dollars before they've already gotten there. So it's going to be an upward battle of change, at least over the next 10 years, to try to make sure that some of these young men are educated and put on the right path, so we're not having some of these situations where guys are fighting for it. And you're talking about the medical insurance. I'm pretty sure I've seen Warren Sapp, he's a Hall of Famer, talk about as soon as he got his jacket, he had to go find somewhere else to get medical insurance because he doesn't have it anymore.
But no one tells you that kind of stuff. And I'll say this. Our league could do a better job about making some of that information more accessible. And I can attest to the fact that one of the things we try to do at the NFLPA is I try to familiarize myself with every program that we possibly have to help a former player. My job is to understand if we have 120 programs that could help a player. I try to familiarize myself with all of them because most players aren't going to spend 2.5 hours or 3 hours on a website trying to figure out like how could I get help for A, B, C, or D. And that's the thing I get a lot of. Like how can I assist guys trying to find programs that actually fit their need.
Yeah, they want you to be what they've always had. Hey man, somebody's always done this. You're like, well, dude, at a certain point, you're gonna have to realize, unless you got most people don't have somebody paying all their bills for them. Most people don't have, and I think the thing is, rock bottom is not the worst place to be because sometimes that's when you're gonna ask.
You're gonna figure it out.
We'll make it. It's got to be dire straits. Whereas you go to an NFLPA meet, you go to an NFLPA function, and you just start talking. Hey man, you don't think that everybody in this room has been in your position because you looking at them now. Yeah, dude, the Nolan Harrisons of the world. It's people out there that really that really be helping. Because I think the thing is, I've gone to a lot of events, and I said, look, man. You got to get past this facade. Don't nobody care about you like that. Like, you coming up here and looking around, ain't nobody going to be taking pictures.
But Ben,
you got to get past it.
But Ben, you're talking about a dynamic that most people outside of players don't understand. Like, Ben, that was a powerful statement that Ben just made. The persona, the ego of being a professional player is probably one of the biggest hurdles that I see guys deal with that inhibits that transition from an active player to retire. Because first of all, you don't want to ask anybody for help. You don't want your other teammates, or former teammates, thinking that you need help. And you're like, what is somebody going to think of me if I call and say I need help with A, B, and C, and D? Because like I said, the public persona of most players is that everybody in the NFL made, $200 million. And that's not the statistical facts of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, listen, man, keep doing what you're doing, man, because I will say this. Former players, the one thing we do a bad job of is lying about the people that really be helping us. Man, don't nobody be. I said, wait. The person that's helping you ain't going to do it for you. They going to give you the tools to show you how to do it. Because if they do it for you, you're going to call and ask them to do everything. Man, can you do this? Can you go pick my kids up from my daycare? No. You're going to have to realize that you're in a place to where it's a bunch of people who actually resonate with the life because what really shocked you is the $100 million dude, he in here too. The one that makes all the money. He's in there.
Yeah, he's in there. But like I said, that's the biggest hurdle is it doesn't stop at your age, my age. I got guys who are Hall of Fame guys that played in the 60s and 70s that, was like, man, I wanted to come to you about A, B, and C, and D. I'm like, dude, why didn't you just ask me? Because the persona we carry around football is toughness, self-reliance. I don't need anybody. I can figure it out. And I try to tell guys, look, man, I don't care what kind of problem you got. If you got a problem, call me, because that problem can lead some of us down a dark path. And I don't want to see any guy who gave to this game end up in that situation. Because like I said, what it took to get to the NFL and the egos we have in the locker rooms can sometimes be our hindrance in actually getting help.
Indeed. Well, you keep on doing it, man. It's not I appreciate sometimes it's not that what you telling a former player he hasn't heard from someone else, but when it's coming from another former player, say, listen, man, I love you, right? But are you asking me to do it for you, or are you asking me to show you how to do it for yourself? Because I'm gonna give you B. Because if I do it for you, man, I don't want to be an enabler. I want to help you. But You got to get past this. What are they gonna think? So you rather suffer in silence than not ask for help? Dude, you better get you.
Man,
We
you
call
and
all that. Listen, we gonna go. Hey, what's up, sir?
You and I know there are a lot of guys. I guarantee you, in your head right now, you can name 10, 15 guys who would be down to their last slice of bread and their last bottle of water, and the persona that they portrayed to you in the locker room is still the same one they have today, and would rather starve than call you up and say, Ben, look, man, I only got a half piece of bread left. And I don't know how to go down and get medicine from the pharmacy.
Yeah,
because look,
don't know how to listen, don't know how to. And the thing about it is, I get it, the level of compassion and empathy that we have to show them because we understand. Like, I understand, man. But I'm like, bro, I'm not telling you how to do this for you. You got a wife at home. You got kids at home. You're going to have to – it's what scares most players is being normal. It scares you. Yeah. Well, I'm like, dude, I get it. But it's like this. Look, man, I get it. You was the all-pro and this, that, and the third. I get it. I say, but if you can't help your spouse do everyday tasks, it's stuff because, and when people tell us, listen, delayed gratification and you're going to be a former player much longer than you're going to be a current player. I don't care how long you play. You're going to be
your perspective, Ben, is not – it is an outlier. Your perspective is not the norm. I'm telling you from God.
I know. Trust me. I'm in Georgia.
Listen.
I'm in Georgia. Yeah.
Your perspective is not I applaud you for growing past football and making that transition yourself, but your perspective is not the norm because the norm is far from that. I mean,
I'm gonna be a disruptor. I'm gonna start going to these mixers. I'm gonna say, give me a mic, turn the music down real quick, and I'm gonna just stand on the table, a table that won't fall in if I stand if I stand on it, and I'm gonna yell out, "No one cares. This is what." Ask for help. I'm gonna say, no one cares for real. Just ask for help because what happens is, right? I said, that's a nice suit you got on, man. That's a nice car you got outside, right? Yeah. Are you picking up your prescriptions? See, and I listen, and I go, and I get it. I said, look, man, we could come in here. We could kind of do the fake persona in there. We could do the perception in here. I say, but here's the thing, right? Yeah. I go, when I sent you that email last week, you told me you got it. Yeah. What's your email address?
Yeah.
It's having them tough conversations with each other because I go, look, man, this is for the rest of your life, man. This means that if you got to go quote get a regular job, that's so you can live. That's not
I get it. That's easy to say. But be honest, all right. How many guys that you play with right now that are still trying to carry their persona they did in the locker room?
It's probably most. And you know what's crazy? Yes. You know what's crazy about that though, Ben? When I see them, right? When I see them, they say things like, Ben, I'm covering the game. They'll say, oh, so you really work for ESPN? Hell yeah, I got bills.
Yeah.
They'll say, oh, so you're really, I said, okay, if I cover a game and you call you call the Florida Athletic Association so you can get tickets on the sideline. I got a job to where I could be on the side, just like you. I just got ESPN on my shirt. But they'll say, yeah, but I say, but listen, man, I tell you this, you're going to run out of stories. At a certain point, you're going to run out. And I think the thing about it is we need to have things to where we close the door and say, all right, fellas, we need to talk about this because we going to be the mentors for the next generation of players, right? We're going to have to forget us. We're going to have to tell them. We're going to have to tell them.
Ben, you make a great point, and that's one of the points I try to put forth out of a lot of our NFL PA meetups in my area. I try to explain to guys, look, that locker room persona that I'm that guy, I'm the guy with $200,000 with a jewelry on, with a Ferrari in a player lot. Those days are over. Like I said, I'm like, guys, we might have, like each team may have 4 or 5 of that guy. Mm-hmm. The rest of us, man, look, you got to figure life out because I can tell you, out of all the guys I play with, maybe maybe 6 have to do nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if you are those 6 guys, you got to figure life out. And I try to tell guys, you know, be comfortable. Everybody in these NFLPA meetups and rooms are former players, and they understand your plight. And we're here to help you. So man, please don't bring that locker room persona. And I'm still that guy with 20 pounds of jewelry and the VIP at the strip clubs and popping
Man,
bottles.
listen, I'm a country boy from Swainsboro, Georgia. Yeah, I went to the University of Florida. I was drafted in the second round of Tennessee, played for the Bucks, played for the Raiders. But you know what I tell people? I say, you know what my job is now? My job is to tell you that my post life is better than my post career is better than when I played, not because of how much money I made. Dude, I'm enjoying my freaking life because I'm learning how to live life on my terms. Like they be saying, they be thinking, they'll say, Ben, that's easy for you to say. I retired in 2008. Yeah. You think I'm living off of 2008 in 2025?
Yeah. I challenge you. I challenge you to keep giving guys that message because
I'm gonna tell them, man. They know. Listen, when they see me, right? I said, y'all make people think that all we got is athletic talent. That's all they can do. I said, wait a minute. I said, I garnered enough attention in my early 20s to get a billionaire to come holler at me. And I appreciate them checks. But we retired without a plan. Most of us retired with no plan. I get it.
Agreed.
But I go at a certain point, I got back in the game, man. I just switched my team. I'm not playing football no more. And I think the thing about it is the career opportunity we have is still endless, but we don't want to be seen punching the clock yet.
That's the locker room ego, though. Man, that's the locker room ego that I was talking about. And I'm just like, man, look, that's a hard thing to I got guys in their 70s who still won't let that go.
Man, that's what I do. I know how to stroke the ego. I know how to say, you the player that did this, right? Yeah, you that one game right there. Go, yeah. You filled your prescription today. What? See, because the reason why I can do that is because I said, look, man, the person who wants the best for you don't want nothing from you. I don't want nothing from you.
I agree. Yeah.
They be saying, I say, your son play football, right? Yeah. He playing on Saturday? Yeah. I'm going to meet your son. I'm going to meet him on the field. How you going to meet him? I go out there and I do the game. Listen, and I go up to the guy's son. I tap his son. I said, that's your pops? Because I said, listen, I want your daddy to see what his life could be if he stopped making it. Listen, excuses only going to go so far. Only because I get it. We ain't in the best health. I get it. We ain't got. I say, but dude, how many people can talk to? I could get a meeting with an off the blank if I really wanted to, and I ain't trying to work for the Falcons. If I got that type of cachet about myself, I got to put it in the right areas because I go, look, man. If Chris Carter really didn't want to work, he wouldn't be working. He's on TV.
So that's why I said football will open doors for you. But the aptitude and skill set that you have post-football will actually keep you there. And I'll say it again, dude. I love your message. Shit, you need to come to our DC meetings the next time we have a leadership meeting in DC.
Man,
you have a great message, and I'm gonna tell you the most next year. I'm gonna bring it up to Nolan because during our annual NFL Leadership Conference, we have all the current player team reps there. So you got 2 or 3 guys from each team that are in their 20s, and those guys are the ones that need to hear that message, as well as some of the older players. But I applaud your perspective and wish that more guys had that perspective once they leave football, because I can truthfully say you're an outlier in that, and it's.
I know I am, man. I'm gonna keep. Listen, it's all from love, man. You know, when I'm getting a chance to do the things that I do, listen, working with people like Steven, you know, on these microphones, talking trash, man. As long as they'll let me come through, I think I represent that football. It's great, but it ain't everything. Man. We got to do it. We
football is a tool.
And listen. When they see me and my wife, they go, "Boy, your wife bad." I say, "Boy, didn't even know her when I played. I had to see her as a regular dude. By the time I met her, my credit report was done."
What you said, man? What you said? You couldn't use that locker room swag when you talk.
Listen. When I get to do speaking engagements and I take my wife with me,
Yeah.
people say, "Man, what type of decision maker are you?" So you stand up. You want to know how I think? That's how I think, right?
Yeah.
With her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when they see me, sometimes people try to wait on me to leave to see what I'm driving. Right?
Yeah.
They try to see, and I tell them, I said, listen, when you tell them what you saw me driving, make sure you tell them that it's paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I gotta limit my stress in my life so I can be the best man in my life. I got to be the best I can for the. You think my kids care how good I was?
Yeah,
my kids care that I'm showing up to their game. You think my wife care? My wife want me to help her in our garden. I don't even.
Yeah, those times are gone, and you know, like I said, being you did some great things in the game, and like I said, I challenge you to keep that message going because a lot of times, you know, other players. It depends on the messenger, and I'm gonna tell you what I've done. John Randall and I work hand in hand. And sometimes if I give a message and a guy who was a first ballot Hall of Famer gets the same message, they receive it better from Johnny than they do from me. But like I said, him and I formed a partnership and kind of like what we do. Him on the NFL legend side and I'm on the PA side. We do a lot of things together to try to push that message, man. That locker room mentality in those days of, like I said, what kind of car you got in the parking lot and 20 pounds of jewelry is over with, my man.
Listen. When they come in there with their jewelry, I said, "Listen, these beads cost $200,000 a piece. I know it don't look like it."
Yeah. It's part of it.
I think the thing is, I understand what my purpose is, man. I'm just here to serve people as much as I possibly. That's why I have a nonprofit for young men. My daddy got a nonprofit for grown men. That way, you got the grown man and the young man both coming from the same people. That way, when I'm talking to future student athletes, I'm telling them, I'm saying, look, man. If all you really want to be is selfish and you need something to feed it. I say, well, I'm selfless and I feed it. Yeah. I feed it by being out there with people, letting them know. I said, look, man, this ain't about. If I had the nicest car, I ain't but one car on the road. That's it. But I don't want the nicest car. I don't want nobody coming to me. Man,
you want a functional car, and
I want to absolutely, man. I want to make sure that we recruit more messages to tell each other, look, man, sometimes the message ain't gonna be motivational. It ain't gonna be uplifting. It's gonna be get your behind up. Because if I don't, I came at you cushy and you didn't do it. I came at you nice, you didn't do it. So now I'm gonna come at you. I ain't gonna come at you nasty. I'm gonna come at you firm. I'm gonna say, look, every time you say no to you saying no to your family. You saying no to your children. And the thing is, man, you can do it. Look, every last one of us in here didn't even realize how many resources the NFL really got. We started saying they do what?
And you bring that up. I'm gonna challenge all the former players that are watching this. We have a program, the NFL Brain and Body. Go use it. There are several locations, Cleveland Clinic, all those spots. Go out there and do the NFL Brain and Body because one of the things that I'm not going to say we don't look at, we take for granted is we had trainers and team doctors that looked out for us when we were part of an organization. Their main goal was keeping us healthy enough to play. But once we leave the game, that health oversight goes out the window. And I can attest myself. I had been out of football 8-9 years and was not going to physicians regularly and went to University of Minnesota for an executive physical and found out that I was in kidney failure. 5 years later, I ended up having a kidney transplant. So my point is, again, take advantage of some of those resources, especially NFL Brain and Body, and find out, some of the problems you actually have because I couldn't imagine my life right now if I was sitting in my house right now having to do dialysis every day. And a lot of these problems that I didn't know that were going on while I played football, uncontrolled hypertension, some of the anti-inflammatory drugs that I used while I was playing. I was joking with some guys last week and told them that the makers of Toradol they need to start advertising commercials on TV, because I think 2 years ago some guys were over my house watching the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes was limping around before halftime, and some guys like, dude, how did he come out there and play the second half like that? I said, my man, that's a nice, cool 1 cc injection of Toradol, and you'll feel like a guy. Hey, Ben, you don't understand, dude.
Listen, that's the longest line on game day is the Toradol shot line. It's the
Toradol,
longest line in the locker room.
Guys don't talk about it, Steven. Toradol, Toradol, it helped me when I needed it. But the thing you are not aware of about 27, 28 is the damage it's doing to your kidneys. But I promise you, nobody's going to talk about it on TV. But on game day, their Toradol line is pretty long.
That Toradol, it took me a little while to realize what it was. They had Toradol. I had broke my foot my second year, and I was taking some of the Toradol pills. And one of my teammates go, pill. He said, "You see that line right there?" He said, "You see that line?" I said, "How you get in the line?" He said, "You go up there, you put your name on the list when you walk in there." Man, listen. Listen. That joke with that man, that trainer say, that doctor say, man, put all your weight on your left foot. Man, he'll pull your pants down. He hit you in that right cheek. You go, oh, I'm talking about like, oh, it's a Superman feeling, you know.
Hey,
Steve, listen, I know it sounds crazy, right?
Guys who have not played on the NFL level do not understand the power. Like I'll give an analogy, and Ben can attest to this. You can leave the hotel limping, almost needing crutches on a bad ankle. Go to the locker room, change, and go in there and get in that line for Toradol. You can run a 40 about 30 minutes later. I'm trying to tell you,
listen, you could. And it's like, but you know what's crazy? You know the greatest marketing strategy they do with Toradol? They let the players market to the other players. A coach ain't told you to get one yet. That player go, boy, go get you that. And
older players.
They ain't signed no prescription for it.
No.
They don't need that. They go like, you go, oh, and next thing you know,
hey, but you know what? But I had no idea what injectable Toradol was. The veteran players told me. I'm like, dude, why are you guys going in the training room, before we go have a pregame warm up? Then I finally figured it out, and I'm like, dude, does this work? And the first time I took it, I was like, dude.
I'm talking. It's the only injection, and we're not promoting injections on.
No, not at all. We're not promoting.
But it's the only injection I've ever had. You can feel it going throughout your bloodstream.
You can feel it working. Yes.
I mean, mind you, listen. Got a minor headache. Got a high ankle sprain, little ankle sprain.
Everything gone.
Toradol, boop, boop. And next thing you know, when guys come out of the training room jumping up in the air, I already know.
I thought I thought your ankle was hurt. Not anymore.
Hey man, let me tell you this though before I know we finna
wrap it up.
You doing guys' work, man. I appreciate you and John Randall and people like Nolan Harrison and company.
Yes, sir.
Keep spreading the message. And when it comes to them youngins, they young. When we was 21, we like this. Yeah, I know. I got to save my money. I said, well, here's the thing. They'll be like, when you don't save your money, make sure you come to these mixers, though. When you ain't got nothing. And listen, and I'm going to talk to you the same. You're going to be trying to avoid me. You're going to be over there with your, $250 Versace shades on and your Tom Ford, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I said, when all that is over with and I really know that all the money you have, you wearing it. You ain't got nothing in the bank. I'm gonna tell you. All right, let's talk. I said, listen, I ain't here to embarrass you. I ain't here to try to, make you feel a certain way. I said, I'm doing this for your future family because they're gonna need you to be a whole individual, a normal individual. That way, when people see you in public, you ain't trying to say you so and so, right? Yeah, man. Do you work here? Yeah, I work here. Because guess what? If you retire when you 26 and you live to be 86, what you gonna do for them 60 years, partner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is almost to the 2-hour mark. We've talked about so much, and guess what? We didn't even get to half the stuff we wanted to. Ben, absolutely amazing today. This is good stuff. We definitely have to bring you back.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to it, guys. I look forward to it. I enjoyed myself as well. You guys bring some positive messages. I enjoyed the conversation we had. It's been an absolute
Yeah,
pleasure.
I definitely want to make sure you get you two guys connected so you guys can work on some stuff.
Ben, listen, man. I can tell. I'm going to get you on the NFLPA speaking tour, my friend.
Hey, listen, man.
He
Listen,
needs
if you
to be.
listen, I'm calling it right now. What is it? April 16th. Listen, Ben Williams gonna get Ben Troop on the NFLPA speaking tour. And once they say it's coming, I'm gonna say I used to work with the NFL through the NFL operations department. They had the NFL ambassadors. I used to do that. I knew they wasn't gonna keep it. I said, man, they're not gonna keep this around.
It was an opportunity.
You helped me get on the speaking tour just to go around. It don't matter what people gonna say. I said, listen, man, I'm living this life. I'm living this life.
There are a few guys, and I'll make this really short. We need more players that advocate for post life, for post plan, because the messages that you put forth during this segment could possibly save a former player's life. And I challenge you to keep doing that because, even though you and I, the three of us are sitting there having a great time discussing an array of topics, we do not know what player needs assistance out there. And I challenge you to keep doing that, my friend.
I will do this, and I will keep doing it whether I get the tour or not. If I do get the tour, nobody's safe.
Believe me, I'm going to tell Nolan we need you, my friend.
Yes, sir. And I met Nolan. I met Nolan Harrison, man, when I was living in New Jersey, man. That's how I heard about the NFL ambassadors college outreach program, man. But listen, I do nonprofit work now. I mean, obviously, I'm in the sports media, world. I do nonprofit work, but I had a gentleman by the name of John Ducksworth. This what made me still do it today. He said, Ben, I'm just one beggar telling another beggar what the food is. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this for as long as they have me. And I just care about these players having real lives. Man, I said, look, man, football was cool, right? But I don't want what I love to do kill me. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna let it do that to me.
Great point.
Hey.
Great point.
Well, like I said, we definitely have to do this again soon.
I
you guys, like I said, I want to make sure you guys get connected. Obviously, with the conversations that you both had, that's not going to be an issue. And Ben, if there's any message that you want to send out to our listeners, to the people listening on, how maybe they do know a player that needs to be connected with somebody like you, how would someone go about doing that? And anything you would like to let people know how to get in touch with you on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever. The time is yours, my friend.
Guys, if we have any former players or family or former players out there that need assistance, you guys please reach out to me. Official Ben Williams on Instagram and Ben Williams, the nickname Big Swole, on Facebook. You guys can look me up through the NFLPA directory. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And please keep doing the work you guys do, guys. And embrace all our former players because they need it, guys.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you there, Ben. Appreciate you hopping on and giving us some time this morning. And like I said, we'll definitely be in touch and get you back on here and talk some more stuff and some more topics. Have a good one.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great day.
Yes, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. That was the Big Swole himself, Mr. Ben Williams. That was I think that hey, we're over the 2-hour mark. I kind of had a feeling this was going to go this way. We didn't even get to half the stuff.
We gonna end up the fan in the end gonna end up coming on probably like 2 times a week. I said, listen, man, we started with 1, we ended up with 2. Steve, you tell me how we move and we move. You the general, sir. I'm here to make myself. And what Ben Williams don't know is my mom's maiden name is Williams, so I could have been Williams. For real, like, but she married my dad, so I've been a troop my whole life.
But that's why I want to do I bring interviews like Ben on, is so not only you, but like all our listeners, people who tune in, people who follow us on social media. We all know somebody that like needs help. Like when he was sitting there saying like we don't know who needs help. Yeah. I remember watching the concussion movie and watching what
Will Smith.
No, the Will Smith movie.
You got the guy from the
Andre Waters went through when he was trying to reach out to Dave Durton and David basically like get your life straight, bum. What are you doing? And then he winds up killing himself. And then what happened to Dave Durton? before the end of the movie. He winds up doing the same thing,
Yeah,
but
man.
leaves a message like, "Hey, I did this for this reason. I want somebody to check my head out." We can, there has to be something in place where we can get a hold of these guys before it gets to that point.
100%. What Ben Williams is doing, the people like himself, I mean, NFL PA rep, former NFL PA, I mean, they do God's work. And I think sometimes, like he mentioned, people are more adept to listen to the Fall of Fame and not realize, look, man, I know how to resonate with people. I said, look, I'm always letting people know, look, man, it's one thing to say I'm not getting help because there isn't any. There's another thing to say I'm not getting help because I don't want it. Because I don't want to be seen a certain way. Look, I said, look, man, to be honest, I said, man, ain't nobody worried about you like that, man. And even if they are, that's their problem. If they do have something to say. And I care more about getting what I need and less about what they're gonna say. If they're gonna say something. I said, but the only reason why they're going to say something because they didn't know you was in this position. But I go, they in the same building as you, right? Yeah. So somebody help them do what they laughing at you about. But laughing or not, joking or not, we have to be there for each other. As men in general, whether we play football or not, hey, man, make sure you taking care of yourself. And I'm talking about mental health just as much as physical. Because if you physically in shape but you mentally gone, it don't matter. We got to make sure we do that for each other. So, yeah, man, I mean, I'm always an advocate for it. I've had some really, really good mentors, and mentors are simply people who give you wisdom, man. They just taking wisdom, they give it to you, they shorten the learning curve. So yeah, man, it's what being said, they can't shut me up. If they can shut me up, they would have shut me up by now, Steven. I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna be right here.
I think you met your match today. I think Ben was out talking.
Yeah, man. If Ben Williams helps Ben Troop, it's crazy saying my name when we said. Help me get a speaking tour for the NFL. I'm gonna do my best to do it justice. I'm gonna do because they're gonna come to me with ideas and say, "Hey Ben, let's just do it for." I say, "How about we do it in these cities? They got all these high schools and middle schools, and because I'm gonna give them some ideas and say, look, we got to start young, man, because old men are dying young. These people, and I think about Vincent Jackson. He wasn't at home. I think about Junior Seau. He spent 20 years in the NFL, 1 year out and died and killed us. So and I know those are the poster childs for it, but I just want to make sure that people understand asking for help is strength. Admitting that I need help, that's strength. It's not weakness. That's what we tell ourselves.
It's probably the biggest strength that somebody could have.
Absolutely.
Just because of ego and everything else, they think it's the total opposite, man. It's not. It's why it's like I said. I'll keep saying it's why I love guys like Lane Johnson, because he's one of these guys that's in the league, and not only is he in the league, but he's also in the middle of a season. Like, hey, dude, I need a mulligan for a few days.
Yes, Max Crosby, who was going through his sobriety. He's it's like they don't he in the league no more, but Darren Waller, when he was in the NFL, it's like I look to combine forces with people like Lane and Max. And
I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I reached out to him when I came across it. I'm like, oh, that would be a fun interview. Seeing that he was involved with the NFLPA was the reason why I brought him on. Just because of everything that we already talk about in football in general. So it's like it felt like it made sense. And then once we got him on here, I think out of all the fun with all the taking nothing away from Vince or Chris, I think this is one of our best interviews that we had yet, just for the topics that we were going over.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you do a great job, Steve, of giving people the platforms to be able to talk about what they're doing, why they do it, and why it's important that they do it. So, yeah, man, that's why I enjoy coming on with you. And they only going to get better. I mean, from the
years. Like I said, we got a fun one next week. We are bringing the Miami Hurricane to poke fun at the Florida Gator again.
I'm so ready for that.
Dwayne Starks is going to be a fun interview. That's all I got to say.
I mean, he won, and he won a freaking Super Bowl with them 2000 Ravens. I think, and Dwayne Starks. I mean, I want to say he's the NFL rep down there in South Florida. So just like Ben Williams,
because I think that's where I ran into him, because when Chris was at it, I guess that they were exchanging posts back and forth. I'm like, oh, let me reach out to Dwayne. So again, and that'll actually be pushed back a little bit because he won't be ready at 11 next week. So either we can hop on at 11 like we normally do, or we can start.
Listen, you the general, sir. You tell me what the marching orders is, and we make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. Well, over the 2 hours today. Gonna definitely take a little bit longer to get some of the reels and clips out because I'm gonna have to go through Opits instead of StreamYard. But it was worth it to go over today. Other than that, man, definitely going to be looking forward to next week's interviews. Got some more stuff with the combat sports stuff. As Ben said, when we're having interviews like this, there probably will be 2 shows in a week. Me and you'll kind of iron out the rest of that and get that stuff situated. But a fun one in the books this afternoon. And as always, fans, make sure you like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Keep up with everything we're doing. Ben's obviously got his shows on Thursday. We're also on the South Florida Tribune every Tuesday night inside the Pigskin and Scott and Candy and the gang. So you can find us anywhere. You can support us through multiple different social media platforms. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're supporting in any way you can, regardless if it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, however you come across our interviews, our content, and make sure you're giving Ben a follow too on his social media platforms. Other than that, this was episode 14 in the book. I'm Steve. He's Ben. We will catch you guys on the rebound, my friend. Peace out.